Hey, it's Cherie from Big Notes Get Votes, and today we are going to talk about how to improve your vocal stamina. Now, if this is your first time coming across the Big Notes Get Votes channel, I'm a professional singer and a vocal coach, and this is one of the questions I get asked most often is how to improve your vocal stamina, or what I call getting gig fit. Now, a lot of the singers that I'm working with aren't performing regularly, but I still coach them as if they're about to go on the road and do 300 gigs each year. I think it's a great idea to have the identity of a professional singer, maybe someone who's a little bit ahead of you. Like for me, she's a lot more ahead than me, but Beyonce, I like to think, what would Beyonce do? I like to take that identity and use what she might do as a pro singer to really up my game. And it definitely helps to keep me focused when all I want to do is just lie around and watch Netflix and play Yahtzee on my phone. So what we're going to do today is talk about 5 ways that you can improve your vocal stamina. Now, number 1 is regular focused practice. So I want you to think about your vocal folds and your larynx like any other muscle in your body. Now, I have an exercise science background, so I used to be an aerobics instructor and a gym trainer, and I use that approach of how I used to train my clients in the same way that I coach my singers that I work with. You want to think if you were just walking into the gym for the first time, or for the first time after a big break, you'd want to ease into things. So you might be training for 1 to 3 times a week, maybe 15, building up to 60 minutes per session. You don't want to overdo it because you don't want to tire your muscles out so much that you end up hating what you did, injuring yourself, and not wanting to come back. So the same applies for singing. When you're starting out, ease into things, start slowly and work your way up. And like being in the gym, it does really help to have a focused practice plan. So you know exactly what you're going to do in that time that you set aside, whether it's 15 to 60 minutes, and also 1 to 5 times a week. So I want you to have a think about what you can do in the next week or so, how many times suits where you're at currently, your current gig fitness, and then slowly start to work into that. Now, if you need a guided practice plan, I have one, a template that you can use, and I will pop the link down below for you. Now, the next element is vocal rest. So when you start working out or working your voice out after a while of not using it, or when you're ramping up into a performance that's coming up, you want to make sure that you're also allocating vocal rest, just like the gym. So if you're working out 3 to 4 times a week in the gym, you want to be allowing maybe a rest day every second day, depending on what kind of exercise you're doing. And the same applies for the voice. Now, what vocal rest looks like is if you've got a very heavy workload, so gigs and sessions and rehearsals and lots of back-to-back stuff, I would really recommend taking an entire 1 or 2 days of vocal rest, and that's no speaking. The other way you can do it is what's called modified vocal rest, where after any high voice use periods, you take 20 minutes after the workout where you're not talking at all. And it just gives your vocal folds a chance to remove any swelling and time for everything to get back to a more resting phase. The next tip is to use what I call your Singers Technique Toolkit. And that means applying technique both to your speaking and your singing voice. The techniques are the same. There's just a slightly different energy focus when you're singing. And what you need to do is think about, firstly, monitoring your effort levels overall. There's often the situation where singers do what I call throw the kitchen sink at it singing, which is where everything is at 150% and there's a lot of tension and a lot of focused effort that isn't in the right place. All the impact or all the effort is located at the source of the sound in your vocal folds, rather than using other techniques like your filter or anchoring your body to stabilize your larynx to help you minimize the workload on your vocal folds. And that's why having great technique is really important, because you understand all the different ingredients and what you can roll in or roll out to support the sounds that you want to make. Another great tip is to be mindful that with higher notes, they will often require less breath pressure, and lower notes might require a little more breath pressure. So this is something that you want to be mindful of when you're considering breath management. I want you to be mindful that it's not one breath for every single task that you ask your voice to do, and really allow it to be dynamic, monitoring your effort levels, understanding how your voice works, and really using that Singers Technique Toolkit as a way to help improve your vocal stamina by using the right tools for the right task at hand. Now, the best way to get good solid technique is to work with a vocal coach. So if you have any questions, pop them down below and I'd love to answer them for you. Now, number 4 tip for improving your vocal stamina is consistency. You really do need to use it or you will lose it. It's a case of keeping the muscle conditioned, keeping it moving, keeping yourself gig fit, and that also includes your daily vocal care habits. Now, for me, what they are, they're really small. They take me 5 minutes a day. I stretch my body. I do sirens, which are a vocal wake up, a stretch for your voice, and a chance for me to check in with how my voice is on that day. Because of course, our body houses our instrument. So a lack of sleep, lack of hydration, any of the vocal health elements or nutritional elements that make us feel more energized or less energized can also have an impact on our voice. So you kind of check in at the beginning of the day with these daily vocal care habits, and they inform you of how to behave throughout the day, whether you need a little bit of extra care. And that element of looking after your vocal health and checking in with your voice every day is one of the elements of being consistent with keeping your voice in great shape, but also the consistency of that focused practice. Last but not least, review. So when you are building your vocal stamina, I want you to keep a vocal journal. I have one of those that you can use as well. So I'll pop that link to the template below. And what I need you to do is figure out what's working and what's not working. So once you've done a month-long focus practice and you've seen some development in your voice, you want to be able to review. Now, the best way to do this is kind of like a before video, what I call a song study. So you take a song, it can be one that you're really great at, it can be one that you find unbelievably challenging, or it can be something that challenges you by contrasting something that you would usually do when you're singing. So, for example, if you only ever sing slow songs, try singing a fast song. If you only ever sing pop, try singing jazz. Just challenging yourself in different ways. And once you've got that before video, you can then do all your practice, and I highly recommend that you video all your practices also so that you can watch back and review. But then at the end of the month, you can look at your before video side by side with your after video and see what improvements were made, plus what else you might like to work on. And this is not a getting down on yourself, critiquing situation. It's all constructive, and it's all about you identifying what you need to focus on to get better. And for this video, we're talking about vocal stamina, and that in itself is just turning up with some regularity, with some focused practice, and making sure that you're looking after your voice consistently as well. So those 5 things together, they are going to guarantee that you develop and build your vocal stamina. If you've got any questions about this, I would love to hear it. Please comment below. Also, give the video a like. If you're still here till the end, thank you very much. Make sure you subscribe so that you can check out all the videos that I post. And I look forward to seeing and hearing you very soon.